Mrs. Coleman. We took it through the initiative, what it was all about, and what we intended to achieve. She got so excited, and then she said, okay, we're going to set up a meeting so that at least she brings in other officials from the Ministry of Education. So a meeting was set up where we introduced the concept, we tested the proposal before it was submitted to her supervisors. The reason why Ministry of Education really got interested in the initiative was that they wanted to, the pass rate is declining at both primary and education and secondary level. So for them it was something that was really going to have a positive impact in terms of mapping the pass rate, while at the same time we wanted to increase the readership of our newspapers and inculcating the readership at an early age. After that, because it was a meeting that was being held by us, the four coordinators and the ministry, they said, and as much as you are working for these newspapers, we need a buy-in from your editors, because at the end of the day you report to somebody. So we brought in our editors so that they can also be part of the initiative. At first the attendance was poor because for them, you know how it is when you, especially if your editor is a man, and you always have this women in news program, when you ask for days to say, I'm going to Windhoek, I'm going to Lusaka, they always have issues to say, women, you are starting, why is it always about you? So even when we introduced this concept to them, I was lucky because my editor is a woman, and the owner of the newspaper is actually part of this program. So it was easy for me at least to attend this meeting. But for my colleagues, it was a bit of a challenge because their male bosses would be like, yeah, starting always this women in news thing, always women this. So attendance at first was poor. But eventually we had to do a demonstration so that at least they understand what we're talking about while we are in terms of a demonstration. Because sometimes it's easy to talk, but you might talk, but it might not be easy to understand what exactly we're talking about. So we had to do a demonstration at one of the primary schools. And one of the trainers from South Africa who was there in Namibia also came to be part of the training. After that, a memorandum of understanding was drafted between the ministry and all the newspapers involved, because we've got 5 newspapers involved, which is the Voice that I work for, and then we have Meri and Meri Monitor, they're under one group, and then we have Midweek Sun and Bosona Kati, they're also under one group. So we drafted an MOU which was submitted to the Attorney General's chambers for approval, and it was finalized at the end of October last year. After that, we organized training for 74 teachers. After the Ministry of Education officials had seen the positive impact that the project was going to have, we had their buy-in, and we had the training of 74 teachers from 6 regional offices, which was held November 7 and 8 this year. It was facilitated by Claire Tinkulu and Ivo Price from South Africa. At first, the editors, like I said also, they were not sure of what was in it for them, what was in it for the newspapers, because they thought, maybe it's just this women thing, they want to do their women's stuff and they want to use us somewhere, because they were not sure what really was going on. And then there was a time when the Ministry of Education wanted to cancel, because somewhere along the road, somewhere along the way, we discovered that University of Kentucky in the US was also, they were somehow duplicating the same thing with one of the newspapers that is also involved in this project. Because I think when the talk was signed to say, okay, we're going to work with you, Kentucky, he thought it was the same thing, he thought it was the same group. So after the Ministry of Education saw that there was a mix-up, they wanted to cancel, but somehow we had to convince them to say, in as much as these people have also want to introduce newspapers in education in Botswana, it's a different thing altogether, because we are targeting primary education, we are targeting primary school students, while for them it was secondary school kids. We also have facing financial constraints, because one of the coordinators, Chanda, she stays out of Haberon, that's about 350. So every time we have meetings, she has to foot her own bill, she has to buy petrol from her own pocket, she has to pay for accommodation. So it was one of the challenges that we faced. But the good thing is that she never gave up, even though we could see that it was draining her financially, but she kept on attending the meetings. In terms of the wins, we can safely say that Botswana now is going to be, it has been counted as one of the countries in Africa which has actually launched the newspapers initiative. And it's something that we're all going to be proud of at the end of the day, to say we launched this project in Botswana and this is where it is. And then at this point, even though I didn't tell you a joke but I hope I didn't waste your time, because he said we mustn't waste people's time. Unfortunately, I can't tell a joke. I think my sense of humor is very low. I'll ask Chanda at this point to come and take over from where I left. Thank you.
I'm also going to present starting from the wins, because here in Win is staying with me. So, as Ngobile has already said, we managed to prepare and succeed in training the 74 teachers from 16 regional. It's having 6 regions and 16 primary schools. So the project is expected to be implemented in January 2018 when schools reopen. So the ministry will see to it, they've already done that technical committee who are the regional directors to see to it that the newspapers are available. The actual project happens in classrooms, like not an extra lesson, but as part of the subject, but using newspapers as teaching aids in classrooms. So during the training, the Minister of Education paid for the teachers' accommodation, meals, and transport to attend the training, because we didn't have sponsorship to pay for the hotels, conference rooms. We didn't have money to transport them from the different regions to Gaborone. So they, seeing the value of the project, they committed to that. So they also paid for the meals within the training and provided a conference facility at no cost to us. They also gave us their vehicle, like took the newspapers from the different media houses to the conference center, and also to transport us from our newsrooms to, in fact, we were meeting at the ministry headquarters, to the conference room. They've also committed to suspending newspapers for the schools and making sure that the project is a success, because initially the newspapers involved were supposed to donate all newspapers. But seeing that most of the editors, but from the 2 media houses, they were so committed that they came to all these meetings. But for my former employee, it has been a struggle for them to come. So we are not too sure, even though the managing editor said that they are committed, we are not too sure if they are with us or they are with us for the benefit in the future. But because you can't work for something and then someone comes to benefit when you have done all the hard work yourself alone, they might end up being cut from the project. Yes. The minister also committed to providing accommodation and meals. That's for me. For me alone, when I travel from Surrey to Gaps. So because after the training, they wanted us to have a meeting like the next week. And I told them really I couldn't afford to come. Like I went to Gaborone fueling my own car 4 times. I couldn't manage to pop out another 800 kula for fuel to and from. Then they're like, no, we pay for your meals and what can go and take a travel warrant. Yeah, to use the bus. But when I got there, you know, women when you go into their offices, want something, they're not too sure what it is for. They give you hassle. So I ended up not taking that road warranty ticket, because the finance manager wanted to know when I'm working for a different government department, where should I be given money for transport from that department? And I really felt stupid sitting in their office. And they're busy discussing me like I wasn't even there. So that day I ended up using my car from my own pocket again, but got that hotel accommodation. We have also set up the launch for January 25th, 2013, because this project has been put under the Adopt School initiative that we all know back home. Private companies are adopting schools, then they assist those schools with whatever that they can to improve their learning. So our project has also been put under that initiative at the Ministry of Education. every time when an organization does something, they have a big ceremony to sign the Memorandum of Understanding. So ours will be on the 25th January, where the Minister, Permanent Secretary, the directors from the Education Hub, and the senior officials will be attending that. And all WIN participants are invited. They're also interested in sending their teachers that they've already trained, maybe in April 2013, to other countries which have succeeded in doing this project for benchmarking purposes, because those teachers are going to be trained to be trainers when we roll out the whole project to the whole country. And at least after 3 years or 5, yeah, that's 2015. If it has proved to be a success, it will be rolled out. They were already invited them to who was training the teachers for training of trainers for the purposes of rolling out. And they've also agreed that they will pay the transport and accommodation and whatever that she needs when she's there to do the training materials, because they have to align that with our curriculum back home. So they have run out of their budget for this financial year. They are keen to sponsor art for next year. And these are the companies that they have told us to bring our proposals again next year, in January, for possible sponsorship. Like the Botswana, Diamond Training Company Botswana, the Orange is the biggest mobile network, and Choppies, the biggest retail supermarket. And the project was well covered in the media, both public and private. And the director of pre-primary even went for a live radio interview. But even though they don't mention our names, they mention our media houses, it's good because we are doing it for the good of the community. So now, why is it important to us in Botswana with this project? We thought classrooms have become boring and not interesting. There was too much teacher talking in the classroom and not enough activities to interest the students to move forward to the next lesson. We thought that was a good initiative to bring the newspapers in the classrooms. We wanted to improve the pass rate, because as an education reporter, I've covered so many stories of results decline, going down from primary level to senior level. So I thought that was maybe to improve that. Also to increase subscription for the newspapers we work for. Because even though they will be donating the newspapers, the old newspapers at first, and after they found sponsorships, there will be subscription for the latest issues to be provided. So that when the students read, because some of them will become more interested in certain issues, they want to follow those while they're still fresh. We want to provide the latest newspapers. We also wanted to get more readers for the newspapers, to open the young readers to new possibilities, because some of them, they never really have newspapers or radio, listen to radios at their villages. So this will be the right opportunity for them to have something, to learn something new that they've never learned, as compared to us maybe who learn about some stuff at university, because we are not open to all these things. It was also a way of us to giving back to our media houses. Because every time we came to WIN, it's like, oh, this program is taking people from the newsroom, and what are they doing? We don't see the value. But they'll never say, oh, the way you write has improved, or whatever has improved. So maybe this was a tangible project that we could come up with. And I really appreciative. And also to giving back to the community. Because at the end of the day, it's the learners and their parents who are going to benefit from this. That's the end. That was during the training, and we wanted to put the video when they were singing the thank you song, but we failed to do that. It was very emotional because they're so appreciative, these teachers.
The program on the very day that I started in my new job as editor of the Publication, 1 August 2010. I was quite frankly overwhelmed by the new responsibilities and very unprepared for what awaited me. Through the kind mentoring and coaching of both Beth and Suzanne, I have made it this far. I've learned to have difficult conversations without getting emotional. I I've learned to see things for what they are. It is what it is, nothing more, nothing less. But most of all, I have learned about myself, my strengths and weaknesses, and how to make peace with who I am. Next year I turned 55 on 11 May. I plan to retire as editor then. I will take a nice relaxing holiday, and afterwards, who knows? With a newfound confidence Win has given me, I might return to being a political journalist or try my hand at something completely different, like coaching or training young journalists on the African continent. Thank you, Women in News, for holding my hands in the air during the past 3 years, when at times I felt I was weak. This has been an incredible journey. I love you all. Estelle. I'm not going back there because it's in the past and we have moved on. For me, it's a passion to work with people and also to manage a team, which I had difficulties with. And I think for now, with all the skills development and coaching and mentoring, Beth, Tracy, Deirdre, and the team that supported me well over the past 3 years, I have gained capability of really doing difficult conversations. I have gained the capability of really dealing with difficult clients. And I think for me the most rewarding is to go through that without sweating or crying in the evening, but to go through it and to see and that the client calls you afterwards and says, thank you so much. And that is relationships you build for a lifetime. And that is for me most rewarding. Another milestone in my life is, I think it was last year when we had a short discussion with Suzanne, and she asked me, is there anything that I'm still struggling with or battling with? And I told her, well, the public speaking or presentations is a bit of an issue to me still, but I'll get over it, no, don't worry. And she said, but you need to practice that. And then the opportunity came for me to do the presentation, as Glenda just mentioned, Embrace Advertising. And for me, it was award-winning, if I can mention it in that way, to put everything together, to strategize my thoughts and to present it to a team of wonderful people, and to overcome my fear and to really engage in what I'm doing and to put forward to what advertising is all about. So I'm proud of myself. Okay. Then one other thing that I'm also very grateful of is I have asked for own office space for the past 3 years, and I managed to get that like a month ago. So now I can put my thoughts together and I can start with mentoring and coaching and to work more strategies for the way forward. All my successes was only possible through the constant training, mentoring, reflection, and assistance from the teams from all the 3 countries, as well as all our mentors and coaches. And I cannot thank one enough for giving me this wonderful opportunity to progress in my career. Thank you.
And can be a little bit intimidating, standing up. So just for this, I mean, it's part of the training, and Alita has come a long way. I mean, that presentation that you did was fantastic. For some people it's easier than other people. And practice. I mean, he started the brain, and I always used to say, and I think Beth mentioned it the other day, if I remember correctly, the more you practice, you become work fit, you become equipped, you become fit to do something.
And I gave it a headline that reads, winning and not whining. Many times, you know, we are always complaining, and that is the whining part. And you forget about the winnings, or the whining will overshadow the winnings that we are supposed to be benefiting from. What I've learned since joining WIN, I'm a freshman from Namibia and news editor for Confidential newspaper. I've really benefited from the group mentoring sessions. There's a time that I had a challenge at work that I shared, I think it was the 3rd gathering. I You know, I shared my problem with the group, and I must confess the advice that I got, I took it back, put it into practice, and started reaping the results, and that is what motivated me to write the article that is on the website right now. I also benefited a lot from the emotional support. WIN has been like a prescription to me. I'll use that word again. Whenever I was facing challenges, I would resort back to my WIN members, especially Glenda has been very helpful, giving me the emotional support and, you know, making me able to stand, you know, the wings of the challenging wins. The other thing that I also benefited from is the networking skills. You know, as journalists, you already have a pool of networks, but ever since I joined WIN, I think my networking skills have greatly improved. I've managed to get even lucrative contracts, work contracts, outside my official job that I've done through networks that I got from WIN. And the best of all, last but not least, I would call it last but best, was the last gathering where Glenda told us about the book called Who Moved My Cheese. I think Glenda has a copy. Immediately after she told us about the story, I bought a copy, and I strongly advise every one of you to buy that book. That book basically tells you about how in life you are able to face the challenges, how in life you should not be let down or your spirits dampened if you don't get what you were getting before. This is a story about 4 partners who were, you know, going to eat cheese, and then one day the 2 found the cheese gone, and immediately they went out and started looking for another cheese. But the other 2 kept going back to the same place, hoping one day they'll find another mountain full of cheese. And that is what most people do in life. When you face challenges, you give up. You are not eager to find alternatives. And that is why I think that book has really made me who I am and really lifted my spirits, you know, emotionally, physically, and socially. And thank you very much to me.
Some milestones in my career and my personal life. Last year when I started, I was clueless about where I wanted to go with my career. I had dreams, but I was not sure how to achieve those dreams. So the career roadmap has really come in handy, and I have to say that my coach Suzanne will be very proud to know that I'm working on achieving my dreams. Through my career roadmap, I wanted to get scholarship and do my master's. I applied last year for the Schevening Scholarship, which is run by the British Council. I was called for an interview earlier this year, which unfortunately I did not pass. But that interview really taught me that there's more to me than I really thought I was. And it has really taught me that there's more that I can still do. In May, I went for a fellowship with the International Journalism Program. I was in Germany for 3 months. I did radio. And that experience also got me to face one of my fears, radio. I've learned a lot from that experience, and I can just say to the freshmen that they should also tap into their dreams and go out there and achieve what they want to achieve.
Basically, wow, the program has been impeccable for me. I've learned so much, not only about the media industry, but about myself as a person. I remember when I got the email to apply for this program, I was begging and sending Catherine emails like, oh my God, you have to take me, you have to take me. And you know, when the program started, I'm just like, oh, you know, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna, you know, rock on for it. But when you now start working on it and having to be asked to work on your career roadmap and all of these things, and you realize how much more thinking and implementing you have to do, it's a completely different program. And as a result, from all the stuff that we've learned, I've learned a lot of things, but like most importantly, I learned about defining your goals. It's one thing to dream, it's another thing to action, to learn from your dreams. From Paula, I'm so thankful for Paula. Paula, I learned a lot from her about change management, about leadership, and about having difficult conversations, because I needed to have difficult conversations at work. So considering my very strong personality, it would have not worked out had I learned, had I not been taught how to have a difficult conversation. From Madia Mangori about being authentic, I had a hard time being authentic and being who I am, but also being authentic in my work. So him having spoken to us about being authentic really helped. From my mentor Beth, I'm so thankful. She was always honest with me when I'm acting crazy. She'd always say, no, that is not that's not happening. But she also taught me how to. So Beth, I'm so thankful. She taught me how to understand and appreciate my talent, and being part of a team and things like that. From Caroline, I'm so thankful. She's always teaching us, to pray and to be faithful and to believe in ourselves. From Kathy, she's ever so organized. From Letty, where's Letty?
She just went up.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Letty was not my mentor, but she's just always has it together. Like, she looks good, and she's also very good. And from my peer mentor, Waboki, she always just believed in me. Like, every time I'm like, oh, I've got this problem, she's like, oh, you'll be fine, you'll sort it out. So I'm so thankful for her. And to my freshmen, who the support structure was really great. To my freshmen, the groups, the peer mentoring that we have with the freshmen, the support structure is great, and I hope you'll be able to maintain it going forward. Because it's wonderful to have people who sort of experience the same things that you go through, because if you don't talk about it, then you think you're the only one who goes through it. But it turns out that we all went through it. I'm so thankful. I grew up, I learned a lot about myself. I learned to manage my manager. It's been such a wonderful experience, and I just wanted to thank the mentor program for it. Thank you.
Social media is an opportunity to communicate, and you can use that. Social media is an opportunity to communicate, and you can use that for your career. You can also use that for your business. You can get business through social media. So Brenda let us know that. The other speaker we had that day was Namchiana, who is an HR expert, and she was telling us about the moment of truth, which is the first impression you make with someone, whether in person or on the phone or an email. You do create an impact. And so she was just helping us with tips of how to present yourself to make this moment of truth a memorable one with the people that you meet. The third gathering was the one Paula Frey came to, and we had a session and a number of exercises. The green head, I'm sure you all did the similar exercises. She encouraged, one of the things she did was to ask people to write something about us. And we were shocked that people wrote good things about us. And so, maybe someone said, you are a confident person, and maybe that's something that you haven't thought about. And so Paula encouraged us to embrace what others had written about us. That was one of the things that we picked up from there. We also had a networking cocktail by which the girls brought colleagues from outside the program. And then during the fourth national gathering, we had the Director General of the Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation, Chibamba Kanyama, talk to us about change management. It was an awesome experience. he talked to us about the different paradigms of management and how this program should help us move from the old paradigm to the new paradigm. In the old paradigm, markets were rigid or leadership was top to bottom, but he encouraged us to understand that in media institutions, if you are from editorial or the business side, you are not more important than the next person. He told us to think of it like an orchestra. Every instrument in that band makes sense. Without the violin or the cello, the sound becomes different. So without good editorial content, the adverts will not sell, and vice versa. Without the adverts, editorial will not exist. And at all our national gatherings, we had one-on-one peer mentoring sessions, and we also had group mentoring sessions, which, as you may be aware, are quite therapeutical. But within the year, like Singobile had said about the Swana women, we had people that made tremendous improvements in their careers, including out of the career, we had one that got married. But for purposes of this exercise, I'm going to call on Imelda and Panik to share with us the experiences that they had.
A fellow winner, a great woman. We just from listening to Muvita was saying that we should believe in ourselves. I am a great woman, I am a winner, successful. What else for me? Yeah, my win journey has been a wonderful one. It has been a productive one. The time I was joining WIN program, my career was like a ship without a captain. I think when I graduated from university with my Bachelor of Mass Communication, I thought that was it. I sat down and waited for things to happen on their own. But when I joined WIN program, I realized that actually success doesn't just come. You need to work at it. Through the help of coaches, I was taught that actually there's a thing called career road mapping. Something that I didn't really, know about. So when I developed my career road mapping, one of the things that I hoped to achieve was to improve myself academically, to increase on my skills and increase my chances of, advancing into management or on the management ladder. And also, I wanted to see myself progress in my job and maybe assume positions of high responsibility. Last year, I was promoted from a position of sub-editor to assistant gender editor. As though that was not enough, I had applied for a scholarship. I got a scholarship to go and study media management at Rhodes University. Right now, I'm coming from Rhodes University. Don't underestimate me, where I just finished my media management program. And surprisingly, I was doing my program most expecting. That's what I'm saying, I'm a superwoman. And the final term, the final semester, I got distinctions in all my assessments, my continuous assessment, despite my state. So now, with coming from a program like this one, you are taught to think like a winner. You have the winner mentality. Because even when I was going through whatever I was going through, I knew that I was a winner. I didn't accept that I'm a loser. And as though that was not enough, during the course of the program, I think I did my first PowerPoint presentation from WIN. I think my fellow Zambian graduates know that we were thrown on the deep end. I think was it the first gathering? It was the first gathering. We were told that each person has to make a presentation, a PowerPoint presentation for that matter. And I'd never made any PowerPoint presentation before.
I met Pele. Unfortunately, passed away. May his soul rest in peace. He said, "What are you doing?" So I said, "No, I'm not doing anything." He says, "Oh, Zambia Daily Mail is looking for sub-editors." why don't you apply? So that's how I applied in 2005, joined as a sub-editor. 2006, I was promoted to senior sub-editor. Then in 2009, I heard about the WIN program. I applied, but unfortunately I was not picked. That was, I think, beginning of the year. Then about July 2009, the Women University in Africa were looking for about 20 Zambian women who are already working, mature women to undertake a degree course in sociology and gender development studies from Zimbabwe. That's how in 2009, August, I started my course. First semester from September to December would be in Zimbabwe. Then the second semester from January to about June will be long distance here in Lusaka. And I'm glad to say that on 26th October this year, I got my degree, Bachelor of Science with Honors in Sociology and Gender Development Studies. Then in 2011, whilst I was still in Zimbabwe, I got a call from Imelda to tell me you've been promoted to Deputy Chief Sub-Editor. And that's the post I hold up to now. Then early this year, I got an email from Catherine actually, asking me to apply to join the WIN program. And again, that was from the recommendation of Imelda. And that's how I find myself standing before you. But my 1 year here with the WIN program, I think, has been very beneficial to me. It has shown me that anything is possible. And I just need to direct my efforts. I need to know what I want to achieve, and I should not be held back. And as I was talking to my mentor, my coach, Suzanne, I need to have a very difficult conversation with my boss because I think at the moment I'm being underutilized. But otherwise, I'd like to thank Leah, Sandra, Imelda, all the Zambian WIN members, and the rest of you for having been there, for supporting me, and you are all a source of inspiration for me. And I think with all your support, I still have far to go. And Imelda, you watch out.
We need some more information.
So next
From
I'm
what you
it was signed in 1990, I think. 1990. And some press release declaration.
ladies, that this declaration made in 1991 on your continent of Africa is one of the most historic things that ever happened for press freedom. And your ability to write news, or if you're a person in marketing or an accountant or HR in a newspaper, your newspaper's ability to have a newspaper. Wikipedia. And basically, this declaration said that press freedom for Rwanda, and 10 years ago Zambia, and still in Namibia, they still have these laws. If you write something that is that story, and it's all true, the President can still put you in mind today, tried to have a meeting with the Information Minister of Zambia. Thank you, Leah. I'm going to hand the mic back over to you. Journalists?
Last word to you is that I want you to keep focused and don't get distracted no matter what you face in the newsroom. Believe in yourself, and that will take you a long way. Believe in the stories you write. The only thing is that you have to be ethical. Whenever you write a story, think about your ethics and do your work the best way you can. Write the truth because you're the voice of the voiceless. I'm happy to be here with you, and this memory will last with me for a long time. Thank you.
me.